Star Wars The Last Jedi is finally about to drop, and like all Star Wars movies, it's focused on the continuing saga of Luke Skywalker, his sister Leia, his nephew Kylo Ren, and various other characters who may or may not be Skywalkers and/or Jedi. But if you've been under a space rock for the last 40 years and need a refresher on the Star Wars saga, we're here to serve. We start with Star Wars Episode 1, The Phantom Menace. Long before the Galactic Empire or the First Order, the biggest baddie in Star Wars was taxation. Yes, the primary conflict of the Phantom Menace is a standoff between the Trade Federation and the Galactic Senate over trade routes. And to think the biggest complaint about these movies was that they were too childish. But we can skip over all that, as well as this famed trio of offensive racial caricatures.
I was not aware of such failure.
Because what's most important in this movie is that we meet young Anakin Skywalker, future Darth Vader and current immaculately conceived slave child. Liam Neeson-esque Jedi Master Qui-Gon Jinn and his Padawan learner Obi-Wan Kenobi are protecting Queen Padme Amidala of Naboo when they land on Tatooine. In need of a new hyperdrive, they're helped by little Annie, who instantly has the hots for Padme.
Are you an angel?
Qui-Gon discovers the boy's body is full to overflowing with midichlorians, which are, I think, like Jedi particles?
I need a midichlorian count.
The reading is off the chart.
Listen, if you thought the Force was cooler when it was a mystical power and not some kind of pseudoscience nonsense, congratulations. You're everyone on the planet except for George Lucas. Qui-Gon Jinn is impressed with Anakin and his sweet, dope, hella good pod racing skills, and reports to the Jedi Council that he may in fact be the Chosen One.
You refer to the prophecy of the one who will bring balance to the Force.
He insists on Anakin being trained as a Jedi, but the Council is against it.
No.
Hunting the good Jedi are the evil Sith, namely fan-favorite Darth Maul and his master Darth Sidious, who's definitely not Padme's friend Palpatine in a cloak and hood. Darth Sidious has been pulling the strings to cause this entire conflict, which culminates in the Battle of Naboo and the best darn lightsaber fight in this whole darn trilogy. In the end, Darth Maul kills Qui-Gon Jinn, but then Obi-Wan kills Darth Maul, and George Lucas kills any potential for bringing back the only character from this movie anyone liked. And no, Darth Maul's return in the Clone Wars animated series does not count, so save your comments. Obi-Wan promises to honor Qui-Gon's memory and train Anakin. Yoda reluctantly agrees, while realizing that the true problem is that the Sith are back, and while Darth Maul is now dead, that means his master, Darth Sidious, is still somewhere out there. Or maybe like 5 feet away from him. Now we jump forward 10 years in time to start Star Wars Episode 2, Attack of the Clones. Queen Amidala is now Senator Amidala because Naboo's political system is really confusing. Also confusing, their aging system because she looks exactly the same.
Annie?
Little Anakin, however, has blossomed into Hayden Christensen, and he's already brooding at a 10th grade level. Annie's put in charge of protecting Padme, but really someone needs to protect her from his extremely terrible flirting. Anakin dreams that his mother is in danger, so he returns to Tatooine, where he and Padme meet a young, non-burning skeleton version of Aunt Beru and Uncle Owen. Hey, that's cinema's Joel Edgerton. Anakin's mom has been kidnapped by sand people and tortured to death. It's a family film, so Anakin goes nuts and slaughters the entire village. How very dark side of him. Then he cries about it because he's Anakin. Meanwhile, Obi-Wan spends a long time investigating a clone army being built on the planet Kamino, all of whom are the Jango Fett model. Oh, are those the 2002 Fetts? Oh, very nice. I've heard good things. With the untimely loss of Darth Maul, Darth Sidious has brought on a new apprentice, Count Dooku, who is now building a droid army to fight against the Republic. Intergalactic Dum-Dum Jar Jar Binks proposes giving Chancellor Palpatine emergency powers to allow the Republic to enlist the clone army, and this is why you don't let Jar Jar do anything. Obi-Wan, Anakin, and Padme all get captured by Dooku, but the Jedi come to the rescue via Deus Ex Yoda and his army of clones. Obi-Wan and Anakin go after Dooku, and they rave fight. Anakin loses an arm and is saved, again, by Yoda. Wow, that CG does not hold up. Dooku escapes, Yoda laments that the Clone Wars have begun, just like in the title of this movie, and on Naboo, Anakin and Padme marry in secret, since having a relationship is a big Jedi no-no. This takes us to Star Wars Episode 3, Revenge of the Sith, where things take a much darker turn for Anakin. First, Palpatine is kidnapped, and he rescues him from Count Dooku by cutting Dooku's head off. It's a family film. Speaking of family, he also finds out that he knocked up Padme with future twins Luke and Leia.
That's wonderful.
Hooray! But he keeps having problematic nightmares in which Padme dies in childbirth. Palpatine, who's still totally a different person than Darth Sidious, takes advantage of Anakin's fear of losing Padme, telling him about Darth Plagueis the Wise and the power of the dark side.
He could even keep the ones he cared about from dying.
Meanwhile, in the middle of the Clone Wars, everyone is up to their elbows in droids. Yoda's fighting with the Wookiees, and Obi-Wan is dealing with General Grievous and his helicopter lightsabers. Back on Coruscant, Palpatine reveals to Anakin that he's actually, and I hope you're ready for this, the Sith Lord Darth Sidious.
Only through me can you achieve a power greater than any Jedi.
Anakin reports Palpatine to Mace Windu, who attacks and disfigures him, turning him into the wrinkly old Emperor we all know and love. But then Anakin intervenes and Mace Windu is killed. Probably. I mean, he gets lightning bolted very, very far away. We don't see the body, but it's not looking great for Mace Windu. Anakin pledges his loyalty to Palpatine, who renames him
Darth Vader.
Which is a really random name to just kind of pull out of the ether, but they were locked into it, so what are you gonna do? Palpatine orders Anakin to kill everyone in the Jedi Temple, and he now goes all in on the dark side and straight up murders children. It's a family film! Meanwhile, Palpatine sends out Order 66 to all the clone troops in the Grand Army of the Republic, instructing them to kill their Jedi commanders, which is why in the new movies, we're down to just one Last Jedi. It's sad, really. Palpatine is now in full control of the galaxy. Padme and Obi-Wan confront Anakin, now Darth Vader, but he's too far gone.
The Jedi turned against me. Don't you turn against me?
Anakin force chokes Padme, then he and Obi-Wan fight.
It's over, Anakin! I have the high ground!
Darth Vader is left legless and horribly burned. And Obi-Wan just leaves him like this. That's a real dark side move right there. Padme gives birth to twins Luke and Leia, then just straight up dies. Emperor Palpatine grabs what's left of Darth Vader and has him turned into the Vader classic that we all know. Then Palpatine lies and says that Vader killed Padme in anger, and he's upset. Then they get right to work on an exciting new construction project. Luke is sent to live with his Uncle Owen in Aunt Beru, Leia is sent to live above Senator Bail Organa's awesome space convertible garage on Alderaan, Yoda exiles himself on Dagobah, Obi-Wan exiles himself on Tatooine, and George Lucas exiles himself to go make Red Tails. Now we jump forward 19 years to Rogue One, a Star Wars story. A team of renegades steals the planet of the Death Star and delivers them to the Rebel Alliance, who are battling the Empire. That's it, that's all you need to know. So let's jump ahead to Star Wars Episode 4, New Hope. The Empire dominates the galaxy except for a small, plucky band of fighters, the aforementioned Rebellion. Leia, now the Princess of Alderaan, is a high-ranking rebel leader. Her ship is overtaken by Darth Vader, so she hides the secret Death Star plans inside a droid named R2-D2, who escapes the ship along with his abusive droid co-worker, C-3PO. They crash land on Tatooine and meet up with lonely orphan Luke Skywalker, who's currently working his aunt and uncle's moisture farm. Moisture farmer? Leia got to be a princess!
It just isn't fair.
Luke finds R2-D2's message.
Help me, Obi-Wan Kenobi. You're my only hope.
And R2 sets out to find local kook, Old Ben Kenobi, a name that's only slightly more effective at hiding an identity than just wearing a hood and cloak. Oh wait, he has that too. Luke and C-3PO find R2, get attacked by sand people, which is a phrase I never want to say again, and are eventually discovered by Old Ben-Wan Kenobi himself.
Hello there.
He tells Luke that he and his father were Jedi Knights together, which is technically true.
He was the best star pilot in the galaxy.
And that his dad was killed by Darth Vader, which is sort of a poetic way to think about it, but not actually true, and guaranteed to confuse everyone for years. Also, Obi-Wan gives Luke his dad's old lightsaber.
An elegant weapon for a more civilized age.
Obi-Wan tries to recruit Luke to help Leia, but Luke turns him down and heads back home to farm some moisture, only to find everything destroyed and his aunt and uncle murdered. So Luke decides to leave a solo moisture farming enterprise behind, and he and Obi-Wan meet up with the smugglers Han Solo and Chewbacca at a local dive bar, and arrange to take their ship, the Millennium Falcon, to deliver the Death Star plans to the rebels.
Chewie here tells me you're looking for passage to the Alderaan system.
But before they can get there, the Death Star blows up Alderaan. Probably shouldn't have wasted so much time listening to weird jazz, which is actually called jizz, look it up. The Falcon gets sucked up by the Death Star, Luke rescues Leia but she's not impressed,
Too short for a stormtrooper.
and Vader kills Obi-Wan in a pretty laissez-faire lightsaber battle compared to the prequel duels. They meet back up with the rebels and devise a plan to blow up the Death Star by firing a proton torpedo into its exhaust port. Luke uses the Force, lots of his friends die in the battle, but he deals with it very well, and it works. Then everyone gets medals, except for Chewie. Moving on to Star Wars Episode 5, The Empire Strikes Back. 3 years later, the Rebels have a new base on the ice world of Hoth, but it's not long until the Empire strikes back. Oh, now I get it. Luke sees a vision of Obi-Wan telling him to train with Jedi Master Yoda on Dagobah. He parts ways with Leia and Han, but not before his sister makes out with him. And we get to live with the distinct possibility that Luke Skywalker's first kiss was with his sister. A bunch of Imperial walkers and troops invade the base, and Han and Leia escape on the Millennium Falcon, pursued by the bounty hunter Boba Fett. Luke crash lands on Dagobah, only to be repeatedly nagged by a lippy green Muppet.
How you get so big getting food of this kind? You are reckless. He is too old to begin the training.
Who turns out to be Master Yoda, looking much less digital in his old age. Yoda trains Luke to be a Jedi,
Use the Force.
but before he can finish his training, he sees a vision of his friends in trouble. So Luke cuts the rest of Defense Against the Dark Side and goes to save Han and Leia.
I can't keep the vision out of my head. They're my friends. I gotta help them.
The Falcon lands on Bespin, and we meet Han's old buddy Lando Calrissian,
Hello, what have we here?
who's already sold them out to Darth Vader. Vader wants to freeze Luke in carbonite and take him to the Emperor, but he has to test the machine on Han first, leaving precious little time for flirting.
I love you.
I know.
Luke arrives, doesn't get frozen, and then he and Vader duel. And then Darth Vader chops off Luke's hand. He was really using that one. Oh, also this.
I am your father.
Luke escapes via Deus Ex Air Shaftia and is rescued by the rest of the crew, including Lando, who everyone's just forgiven already for some reason. And they escape in the Falcon. Luke gets a robot hand, Lando and Chewie head off to rescue Han from Boba Fett and Jabba the Hutt on Tatooine,
May the Force be with you.
and everyone stares at the galaxy. It is sad. We continue on to Star Wars Episode 6, Return of the Jedi. Luke goes to Tatooine and rescues Han from Jabba the Hutt, which takes up the first 40 minutes of the movie, but there's a lot more to get to, so let's just move on. Luke returns to Dagobah to find Yoda dying. Before he goes, Yoda confirms that whole "I am your father" thing.
Your father is.
Then Obi-Wan's ghost returns for a sit-down to reveal to Luke that he has a sister. Luke figures out that this must be Leia. Then Luke immediately regrets again what was possibly his first kiss. Before Luke even has a chance to process all of this, the rebels find themselves having to deal with yet another Death Star, this time protected by a fancy shield. The Empire has thought of everything this time, except that it turns out that the shield has an off switch located on the Forest moon of Endor. Han, Luke, and Leia lead a team down there, and they join forces with the local Ewoks, who declare C-3PO their god. Luke turns himself over to the Empire and tries to talk his dad into not being quite so evil.
I feel the conflict within you. Let go of your hate.
It doesn't work, so they have another lightsaber duel, and Vader threatens to turn Leia to the dark side. Well, this sets Luke off, and he cuts off Darth Vader's hand, because that's how they show love in the Skywalker family. The Emperor, who at this point is openly living his life as Palpatine in a hood and cloak, reveals that this was all a trap meant to turn Luke to the dark side, and tries to tempt Luke to kill his father and take his place as his new apprentice. Luke refuses, and the Emperor tries to kill him with lightning, but Vader intervenes and throws the Emperor to his death. Then Vader is revealed to be a very pale, very bald man. He dies in his son's arms. It is sad. Meanwhile, the shield generator for the Death Star is down, and stop me if you've heard this before, the Rebels blow up the Death Star. The score is now Rebels 2, Death Star 0. The Rebels and Ewoks celebrate their victory, Han and Leia make out, and Luke sees dead people. The end. Except it's not the end, because we now have Star Wars Episode 7, The Force Awakens. It's now decades later. Luke has gone into exile, Leia is a general in the new rebellion, the Resistance, and the First Order has taken the place of the Empire. Literally almost nothing has changed. Hotshot Resistance pilot Poe Dameron has traveled to Jakku to pick up a map, supposedly leading to the location of Luke Skywalker. But before he can escape, Darth Vader's biggest fan, Kylo Ren, shows up, freezes a blaster shot, and captures him. Poe hides the map with dutiful Sphero prototype BB-8, who escapes and later winds up in the hands of Rey, who's been living on Jakku killing time as she waits for her absent family to return. Are we finally going to find out who they are? We also meet FN-2187, aka Finn, a stormtrooper who's having second thoughts about all the stormtroopering he has to do. He frees Poe, but they crash land back on Jakku. Finn meets Rey and BB-8 with the First Order in hot pursuit, and they escape in the Millennium Falcon, which Rey is already better at flying and fixing than Han Solo ever was. Finn pretends to be part of the Resistance, and Rey agrees to help him get BB-8 back to them. And then look who it is!
Chewie, we're home.
The First Order, is in hot pursuit, led by Kylo Ren, Hitler wannabe General Hux, and the mysterious Lincoln Memorial-esque hologram of the Emperor, of Supreme Leader Snoke.
If Skywalker returns, the new Jedi will rise.
P.S. Kylo Ren is actually Han Solo and Leia's son, which makes him Darth Vader's grandson. This galaxy is lousy with Skywalkers. Speaking of Han Solo, we can skip over Han's debts to the cast of the raid and the giant tentacle meatball monsters he's smuggling because more importantly, we learn why Luke Skywalker has disappeared.
He was training a new generation of Jedi. One boy, an apprentice, turned against him, destroyed it all.
Now he's in hiding, looking for the first Jedi temple. Han and friends go to Maz Kanata's for Cantina Scene 2.0, and Finn comes clean to Rey about being an ex-stormtrooper.
I'm not Resistance. I'm not a hero.
Maz tries to give Rey a lightsaber, but it gives her psychedelic visions, which have been the subject of much internet speculation. Rey runs away, and Finn ends up with the lightsaber. Right then, the First Order uses their gigantic Death Star, Starkiller base to attack the Republic. Many millions of people are killed, but we don't have time for that, because both the First Order and the Resistance show up to get the Luke map, and Kylo Ren takes Rey prisoner. After the battle, Han and Leia stiffly reunite.
You change your hair.
And Finn and Poe passionately reunite. Kylo Ren tries to force read Rey's mind to find Luke, except that she's able to resist him, so he throws a temper tantrum. And then Rey uses her newfound Jedi powers to trick a stormtrooper into letting her go. Oh, did we forget to mention that Rey is apparently a super powerful Jedi? Well, she is. We get to the big finale. The Resistance mounts an attack on Starkiller Base. Here's the plan. Finn, Han, and Chewie disable the shields, while Poe leads an attack on one specific part that will blow up the entire base. It is a brilliant combination of the plans from both A New Hope and Return of the Jedi. But then Kylo Ren shows up and Han tries to convince him to come home. Spoiler alert, it doesn't work. Then Kylo fights Finn and Rey in the woods, taking out Finn until Rey uses the Force. I don't care what you have to say about training, that is awesome. Finally, the Resistance figures out that you can't kill a big base without a trench run, and the Death Star Killer base is destroyed, and everyone escapes. Everyone reunites at the Resistance base, and everyone gets a hug, except for Chewie. Then R2-D2 wakes up for no reason, with the rest of the map to Luke that everyone's been trying to find for the whole movie. This would have been useful 2 hours ago, R2. And we end with Rey on an island, thrusting a lightsaber at a very beardy Luke Skywalker. And that's everything you need to know to watch The Last Jedi. Did we skip over anything? If we did, you probably know it because everyone has these movies memorized anyway, and you're just watching this video for fun. Thanks for watching this recap of Star Wars. May the Force be with you.